got, wait a minute. What the? E-Sam got a slot? He don't even have hair. Dogs don't care about his subs. Whoa, I do. Okay? But, as they say, I had to do me. And I had to go on a vacation. This is fucked up, guys. You see all these little blue lines? Those are the days I've been gone. Look at this. Good news is here. See? Today is the 22nd. Look at this. There is no blue lines. There are no blue lines. Flight to New York? When the fuck am I going to New York? Oh, wait. I live in New York. No, I'm going to Atlanta. Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, I forgot about that. But look, that's just like 3 days. That's 4 days. That's chill. There's no more flights after I go to Atlanta. There's no more flights. Nothing. It's blank. Look at December. Nothing. No one wants anything to do with me, and I'm going to be home streaming. It's great.
For the grab.
Jose,
Chan.
did you catch the episode of Hot Juans? No. Should I sub-goal that? Is that something I should be watching or what? Because every time Hungrybox comes out with a food review video, then I review the food review. I did a tweet. I made a tweet while I was over there, and then everyone gave me this bullshit. Oh, like, oh, this sounds like clickbait. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, I was in Singapore and some crazy shit happened, but it wasn't worth tweeting about. It's something I have to talk about. It's something I have to explain to the people. There was more shit that happened than just this. But do you guys know what a Thai disco is? I don't want you guys to know what a Thai disco is because I want to tell you. But when I tweeted this, some people were like, "Oh, what is this clickbait?" It's like, no, there's so much to say. So much to say. But okay, so you know what? This is how I want to do it. Let's start talking about the soothing stuff, the chill stuff, the straightforward stuff, which is me beating everyone's ass in Ultimate. How did I do it? I have no idea. I don't know what happened. I have no clue. Look at this. I show up to this tournament, and first of all, this is my vacation. I had no intention of showing up to a Smash tournament. It just turns out that there's a big FGC event this exact weekend that we're all in town. Toph brought it up. He's like, we should go. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll go. Fuck it. I'll just hang out, see what it is, but I'm leaving as soon as I get knocked out of Ultimate because I'm not going to last long. But I end up beating Zavs and Kami. I'm like, okay, my run is over soon. And then I run into Gunkman, who is a DDD main. Yeah, but then I lost to Gunkman. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm actually not going to make top 16. That's crazy. I'm playing a guy named Weeaboo. How the fuck am I going to beat someone named Weeaboo? But then I beat him. It's Piranha Plant. Me Gunner does fine against Piranha Plant. Okay, cool. Then I play Yoshi. I'm like... But my brother plays Yoshi, so I played around with Yoshi. So I beat him. I'm like, okay, that was weird. And then I play Mania, who is playing Pokemon Trainer. And he spams Squirtle, which I think destroys me Gunner. I end up beating Mania, who used a lot of Squirtle, but I you know what I realized during this tournament? You know what I realized? I just don't have to fight. I could just get extra lame. I could just get lamer, and I don't have to worry about it. The more lame I get, the more I win. But I'm like, okay, cool. I advanced to top 16. Fuck it. Nothing's going to come of it. So we go to Marquee. Look at this. Look at this place. Look at this stage. Look, there's 3 levels. Bars on every floor. Multiple bars on every floor. I got to show you the... Oh, look, here's the Ferris wheel. Here's the Ferris wheel. Look at this. Oh, cool. Great picture. Oh, sick. Yeah, great quality. Look, you could imagine it, okay? There's a straight up Ferris wheel within the club. So we do all that. We go to sleep by like 7 a.m. So, I am probably, most definitely, 99% not going to make it to the tournament tomorrow, even though I made top 16 and advanced to day 3. Now, I end up waking up on time, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm awake. I might as well go. I am so exhausted. I'm probably just going to get fucked up. I go to the venue with that plan. I show up to my first match against Cobble Maniac. As he was beating me down, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to fight this guy too much. I'm just going to camp a little bit. I'm just going to get my damage, nickel and dime him. Then he goes Wolf. And I know how to fight Wolf, but he's up 2 stocks. He's at 3 stocks to my 2 stocks high percent. And I end up reverse 3 stocking him. I was like, what the fuck? Why am I winning these matches? And then I play Skull Kid. And this is where I thought I lost, okay? Well, I thought I lost multiple times. I play him, and we played friendlies. And he was beating my ass every match in friendlies. I play him, and I'm like, I might as well try playing as lame as possible. Which is literally my whole strategy this whole tournament. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to get lamer. He's getting a little tilted. He was kind of vocalizing his frustration. He's like, oh God, what the fuck? Like he was saying this shit out loud. He beats me with the Yoshi game 2. And now the last game he switches to Link. And he was botting me the first stock, and then you know what I did? I played extra lame. I'm like, you know what? Force him to play neutral. And I beat him, and he was upset enough to straight up tell me, he's like, you know that was a really big upset. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I beat IBW at main stage, it's like when he shakes my hand, he's like, congrats, that was a really big upset. Thanks. That put me, I got into top 8 by beating Skull Kid, and then I played Cheese on like the end of my run, and I got into top 6. I don't know what the hell happened, but I did it. And I played Side Force, and when I saw Side Force playing in winners, I'm like, okay, I'm actually not winning this. And it was very true. He fucked me up. That's the tame stuff. I would like to start on the juicier stuff. The weird stuff. The culture shock stuff. Okay? So I tried to find karaoke on a Friday night. Because I'm thinking, okay, Friday night, I'm kind of jet lagged. I don't really need to party crazy hard or anything. I just want to go to a chilled spot where I could do some karaoke. Right? So I typed in karaoke on Yelp. And I tried to look through the pictures to make sure it wasn't a room. And I saw this place. It had a bar. It had a stage. I'm just thinking typical karaoke. I'm going to go and I'm going to have a great time. So when we go to one, I forget what it was called. I think it was called like Leisure Lounge or something. Like the 2 bartender guys like walked all the way up to us. They were just like looking at us, just like waiting for us to know what we're doing here. So we sit down in a booth facing the stage. Okay? And then this girl that was sitting at the front, one of the girls I saw when I walked in, walks all the way up to me and my brother and then comes up and shakes my brother's hand. And then she walks up to me and she shakes my hand. And then she walks away. Okay. And then I'm looking around the room and I'm noticing that my brother and I are the only guys in the whole building. And the whole building full of like 12 girls. But then a man walks in. And I take a look at him, right? And I don't mean to be the guy that judges looks, judges people based on their appearance. But this guy was definitely fucking old. He was definitely super bald. And once again, the girls start lining up. I'm talking lines now. To shake our hands. Shake his hand. They sat down with him, but then they just kept shaking our hands. And then I got it. I started figuring it out. I'm like, okay. I think I heard about this. Vish kind of mentioned this to me before. He says when you go to karaoke spots, girls will hang out with you to watch you sing. And they'll cheer you on and they'll be super friendly. But you're probably going to have to tip them later. If you want. But they'll just randomly be around, hanging around you while you're singing or doing whatever. But this was different because they were shaking our hands and nobody was singing but the girls themselves. Only the girls were singing. So then I started to come up with a theory, right? What are your guys' theories at this point? Do you think What do you think? Do you think this is a secret strip club? Do you think this is a brothel? Do you think this is just some weird ass shit that's not going to make sense even after I explain it to you? Because I figured out what it was. So we sit there and we get our hands shaken. I'm not kidding you. At least 17 times by 17 different women who all come by. Like, hi. Hi. And then they shake your hand. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm like, hey. And at a certain point, we were having fun with it. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. All right. More handshakes. Let's go, baby. And I don't know if you saw Vicious tweet.
I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. Before me off the fucking plate. I want to shake his hand. That's all I want to do. All I want to do. You stupid son of a bitch.
It's a fucking classic. If you haven't seen it ever before, you're welcome. We shake like 17 hands, and then we finish our beers. We're like, all right, let's get out of here, dude. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to get weirder. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I don't know if we're going to have to pay for all these shook hands. We paid our $36 for the picture. Let's get the fuck out of here. So we got out of there, right? We told Vish and Toph about it. So they're like, dude, what do you mean they shook your hands? I'm like, no. They actually walk up and shake your hands. And then it became this whole meme during the whole trip where they're just constantly, they couldn't wait to go to this spot to get their handshake. I'm like, dude, you need to experience this. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. Okay, I'm skipping one thing just to tell you that on the very, very, very last day, on Saturday night, I got them both to go back to this Korean TV or karaoke TV. I don't know what the K stands for. To go back to the KTV place to get their hand shaken. And I've never seen Toph more excited and hyped ever in my life than when the first girl walked up to shake his hand. He was so excited. One girl walks around the bar, comes all the way up to Toph, and then she puts her hand out. And Toph starts cracking up. He's so excited. He's like, and then he starts dying. He's like, that was so sick. I'm so hyped. He's like yelling. He's like so happy. And then another girl comes by. He's like, oh shit, another one. And he shakes her hand too. It was great. They were so excited to shake hands. Let me give you, that is my second most culture shock moment of the trip. Let me drop to number 3 because it's a quick one. Sunday night after the tournament. They tell me, the TOs and the locals tell me that there is an after party for the tournament that everyone's going to. And then they said, we're going to go to a Thai disco. It took us a while to find it. When we showed up, they gave us the address. It was the wrong address. With a lot of hot women just standing around everywhere. Seemingly not with a bunch of other girlfriends. On their own. I'm in this place full of prostitutes. I can't find this fucking place. It's late. They're not giving us proper directions. I'm getting really annoyed. If you know me as a person, I am very impatient. So then we go to the actual Thai disco. We find it. They don't let us in. They actually say, well then, why don't your friends come outside and get you? And I'm like, oh, okay. So like there's no cover charge or something that I could pay to get in. I have to wait for my friends to let me in. This is really weird. It's really weird. Oh, Striker, you'll hear about this soon. There was no need. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I tell my friends are not inside, they're outside. So then we try to go in. And then they say, okay, show us your passports. And then I'm like, fuck, we didn't bring our passports because our IDs were enough for all places. This is just different. And I tell my friend, I'm like, look, hey, did you know that they need passports? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell us? I'm here on vacation. I got a limited amount of days. It is now 12 a.m. And we've been trying to get to this fucking place since 10. We're like, let's just go to a bar nearby. I'm like, all right, fine. We walk into this bar in that same strip mall with the sex workers. The place looks grimy as fuck. They have a Confederate flag hung across the entire back of the building. There is a Filipino man wearing a Make America Great Again hat and a Trump t-shirt. I'm not kidding you. This is the whole thing. I ordered the drinks. So I'm like, dude, it's 12 o'clock. There's still clubs open late. Let's go to Clark Key, which is Clark Key is this banging spot that's open till like 4 a.m. every night. I'm like, fuck all this. Let's just go there. So then I tell him, hey, thanks for everything. I'm leaving. And I start leaving. And the guy who ran the tournament, the guy who's going to get us into the Thai disco, he chases me down the escalator. Hey, man, you know what? I think there's a way we can still get into the Thai disco. I have a friend who's in there, and he says we won't have to worry about passports if they get us in. And again, for the sake of... let's just assume that Vish was not there. Okay? But what you start noticing when you walk into these places is that even though the ratio's kind of even, the girls are really, really, really pretty. And the dudes are, for the most part, pretty fucking ugly. So we go in, and one of the first things that the sign says is no cameras, no pictures, no recording of any kind. It's a big sign that says that, like, everywhere in the club. In the middle of us hanging out and just doing our thing, on stage, like 10 women walk out on stage, and I find out that they're kind of like you're kind of supposed to pay money and say, like, this one was my favorite, and then they get a sash in the amount that you paid. Are you buying their full services, or like I don't get what this is? They're like, no, you're just kind of awarding them money. Does that make sense to you guys? It doesn't make sense to me to this day, but we kind of started to get it. It started, like, they just kept lining up every 30 minutes. One of them came up super aggressively, and she goes, come on, drink. And she's like yelling at me and like yelling at my brother. We're like, well, all right, hold on, chill out. She's like, drink. And she like slams it. She's kind of like wobbly and shit. I mean, like, there's no reason for them to hang out at our table. I know I got top 6 at the biggest tournament in Smash Brothers history in Asia, whatever. I know that. Vish was observing that drunk girl that came by, and you notice 2 things. All these girls had ice cubes in their beer cups. Big ass ice cubes. She was literally there to pretend she was drunk, to try to encourage us to drink with her so that we would be more loose with our money. Yeah, it's like a strip club. It's like a full service sex worker, but without the full service. It's not even a sex worker. This is like companionship. You're paying for companionship or something. All of them, I swear, they all looked like they didn't want to be there. But there was one girl who'd literally like stare you down. She started like dancing and shit, like a fun dancing thing, and she'd make deep eye contact. So the girl comes by and we're like, hey, we're like acting all happy or whatever, and then she starts hanging out, and she starts like touching shoulders and like being like real close. She didn't cross any lines. She was just real close and shit, like super flirty. And then I whispered to her while she's like talking to Vish. I'm like, he's really, really shy. And, oh, they love that shit. So any resistance from Vish is just Vish being shy. So of course she's got to try harder. Vish had to hard tell her that he would not pay any money. Like, that is how you end everything. Do you guys want to hear when I got propositioned? You guys want to hear that? You guys want that story? You guys want to hear it? We go to this club on a Wednesday night, and the crowd is good. The crowd is dancing. They have a live band that does a lot of cover songs of like really hype hip-hop, R&B, rock. It's just live music the whole time, but it's all covers, so it's all hype and everyone's dancing. They do it really well. It's dope. It's sick. So I'm getting a vibe from this place. And then this girl walks by in a small black dress. She's so pretty. She's gorgeous. She just like looks at me. She's like, hey. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she starts telling me like, oh, the band's great. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, they're playing some really cool shit or whatever. And she goes, hey, this is my friend, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. And she's like, hi. And she's friendly too. I'm like, okay. She's like, do you like to have fun? And then I was like, something like that. She said something along those lines. I'm like, yeah, I like to have a lot of fun. And then I go, so let me tell you something. And this is actually how I said it to her. I'm like, I think I'm cute, but I'm not that cute. So I'm gonna let you go. Is what I told her. And then she responds by grabbing my shoulder, and then she puts one leg on the chair, right? And then she starts doing like a grinding motion on me. And she says, "Come on, we could all have a lot of fun." She says, like, me and the friend, we could all have a lot of fun. and then I kind of push her back. I'm like, look, you guys are actually a lot of fun, but I'm not into that. I like straight up said, like, I don't pay for that. After the karaoke part, we went to this same club, and they were playing music, whatever. And then we moved on to another club next door, and this was like a straight up nightclub. I've partied a lot with Smashers. I've partied a lot at like different gaming events and things like that. I have never felt old until this club. So as we're partying and as we're hanging out, there's this one table, and this really nicely dressed Indian guy walks over to where I'm at, not facing me, still his back to me, and then he bumps into me, and then I spill my drink like over my shirt and on the floor. Not the whole thing, right? I still hold it in my hand, but it spills everywhere. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like, he just bumped into me. It's whatever. It's a club. It happens, right? So this guy bumps into me and he stays there. And he just stands his ground, and he's kind of like, he's like forming a wall around his group. And then I whisper to Vish, I'm like, dude, I think this guy's got a problem with me. I walk around, and then I come back. I'm like partying in the group. I'm like checking out the dance floor. I'm with Vish. I'm with Gabe. I'm having a good time. And then I stand there drinking my drink near the table. He walks by, and then he does this. Like, from his back, he bumps into me. And then he bumps into me, and I stand there. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, let's see how this goes. And I just stay. I don't move. He bumps into me. I'm like, huh. He does it again. And then I stand there. And then this time, he does it so hard, the floor was wet. He actually drops me to the floor. I'm not kidding you. He bumps into me. I slip. I fall on the floor. I immediately stand up. This was like a second. This was the whole, I'm prepared to fall. I know what's going to happen, right? So I fall, and I immediately get up, and then I put my hands behind my chest, or behind my back, and I lean my head forward, and then I'm not making eye contact. I know he's looking at me. I put my body in front of him, hands behind me, head forward, right? And then I go, "What's your problem, man?" And then he looks at me, like he like gets in my face, like trying to make me like flinch and shit. And he goes, "You." he straight up said that. And then I'm laughing. As he says that, he goes, "You." I'm like, "Why? Your friends like me." And I'm still smiling. I don't know what he said, but there's a low-key chance, I don't want to admit it, but I think he might have said I'm old. I'm not sure. He's like, "You're old." I don't know what the fuck he said. Security. That also was his friend. This is when I realized he was connected. He walked up between us. And you know what he did? He put his back towards me and faced his friend. And he tells his friend to calm down. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Singapore is so sick. So as he's getting a talking to from security, I walk over to Vish and Gabe. I tell them all what happened. And I start cracking up visibly. Like, I'm like, ha ha. I start clapping. He starts throwing ice cubes at me. I'm not kidding you. He grabs ice cubes from his thing while security's watching him. And he starts, like, trying to throw them. And then, like, hits me. And I start laughing some more. It was so much fun making this guy so mad. Because I know exactly what kind of guy he is. He's just a rich boy who's had it all, and he literally tried to buy his friendships. I haven't had that much fun being threatened by a person in a long time. He literally made me fall on the floor. I'm talking. I'm talking. You know what it looks like when you tech a down air from Falco on the floor and you just immediately just stand up? He just launched me to the floor and I was just. What's your problem, Doug?